Good afternoon, VV Nation. Happy Monday. We'll give everyone just a moment to make their way into the room. My name is Ryan. Hope everyone had a great holiday weekend here. All right. We got people coming in already. Pennywise, Tabula, good morning. Well, good morning to you too, Barry. I will be honest. I'm a little under the weather today. I'm in the struggle box. But I still got some good things I want to point out in the market. And honestly, I saw the gap down this morning as well. But there's some levels I like holding. Bitcoin, I told you last week, it's going to crap the bed, right? It broke that trend line. I don't see saving Bitcoin this week. I told you last week I'd be more of a bear. If you open up shorts in the 90,000s, probably not going to be the worst case scenario. Now, I did see Bitcoin around 84,000 not too long ago. But I do have a crypto story. It's a very interesting crypto story. I'm doing some research this morning, so I definitely want you to pay attention to that. Now, just looking at the market here, major indices, they are down right now. Feeling the pressure, right? Nasdaq down 47, Dow Jones down about 200. But I do see some filling the gaps occurring when it comes to these major indices here. And just taking a look at the MTI, which tracks our underlying trend, it's almost back in the positive territory. That's what I like to see, especially for my optimisms. Everyone's trying to be a bull, right? Anybody seen Santa? Now, I will say the data vault position, I closed that Friday. It looked like a head and shoulders coming to fruition. I was up pretty good on it, so I wanted to... Where am I hearing an echo from? Interesting. All right. Well, let's get into it. I got the stories here. I thought we had a DEW up, prepare for liftoff. We do, Taboo. I'm going to talk about that DEW up signal as well. I'm still optimistic going into the holidays. But yes, we have 4 big days in a row in the market. So with the gap down, hey, the technicals need to take a breather. Not that big of a deal. But I'm starting to see some of those gap fills. I mean, the Nasdaq looks a lot more optimistic than it did about an hour or two ago. I will say that much. And just taking a look at the Midas touch here. Let's see where the momentum is at. We've got Globus Medical, Carpenter, Applied Materials, Eli Lilly, and Coherent Core. Pretty mixed today on some of the momentum stocks. So, Joey, let's go into the VectorVest 7 software here. And actually, while we're taking a look at the home page, we can see the color guard, caution, right? VectorVest is going to advocate caution when buying stocks this time. Yes, we did get the DEW up signal Friday, right? We did get that Friday. Not as much follow through as I'd like to see. And I'll get into the Qs here in just a moment. I do want to go, actually, let's do this now. We're going to do the Qs now. In case I got some day traders here, let's go to one day. You can see the retest, right? Nice trend line. I had some levels here I was looking at last week, broke through those levels. I like what I see in the Qs this morning. Now, am I going to advocate just going out there buying all willy-nilly? No. Have some caution and just know if you're purchasing right now, still going to be a little bit on more, speculative, more aggressive side of things, right? Now, the DEW, but with no follow-through, very little follow-through today, right? Really just getting a follow-through from the gap ups. But let's go to one day here. Let's get rid of the stop price. We are close. We are close. If you are a day trader, I would look at this one right here. We got a freehand line. That's interesting. Little day trade there. Let's see if we could get above. I have a feeling the Nasdaq might get into positive territory a little bit. Look for a little bit of a pullback there. Blue gold up 22% today. Nice. But yeah, I like this. Even though we got the gap down, we are filling the gap. This is what I like for the bulls right now. This is what I like for the bulls for sure. Now, if we broke this and we didn't even get a gap attempt fill or anything like that, I wouldn't be too optimistic today. But I like what I'm seeing today in the software, even though we got some yellow lights across the board. So let's take a look at the news story, see exactly what's going on in the market today. There's a lot of earnings. So we're going to start off with earnings this week. I know just because NVIDIA reported doesn't mean earnings are over, right? We've got some pretty, popular names here. We've got Credo Technology, not too big today. Tomorrow, we've got CrowdStrike, Marvel, we've got Okta in the list, GitLab. So, no Mag 7s, but there are still some pretty important companies here. We've got Salesforce, CRM, Snowflake, another big AI software company, Dollar Tree, Five Below, UPath, right? So keep an eye out for earnings. Credo, yes. Jerome Powell has a speech today, yes. Pennywise, he might have a speech today. You guys would have to look at. I'm not entirely. Actually, I got the economic calendar next. Let's find out. Yep, 8 p.m. 8 p.m. I did hear some news over the weekend about potentially he could be replaced here pretty soon. So yeah, that could probably, take up some volatility depending on how the market likes his replacement, right? I'm not going to speculate in that. But since someone brought up Jerome Powell, yes, that scenario could cause a little bit of volatility one day for sure. Not going to sleep on that one. As far as Thursday, it's mostly Canadian banks. I will say you got Toronto Dominion, Bank of Montreal, Canadian Bank here, Imperial Bank of Commerce, Alta, Dollar General. Oh, IoT's on the list as well. So I did put a list of earnings candidates here. I want to look for rising earnings per share, that forecasted EPS. I want to see that rising if I'm holding a stock going into earnings. At least it makes me feel a little bit more comfortable, right? Now, if EPS is just falling, that could be a crapshoot going into earnings, right? You're taking on a little bit more risk there, I would say. Now, just looking at the economic calendar here, yes, today we've got PMI data, ISM manufacturing data. That is out this morning. 8 p.m., we've got Fed Chair Jerome Powell speaks. So, yes, probably look at the headlines of that this evening, especially if you plan on, getting into the market tomorrow. If you're just trying to see, how the market could perceive what he is going to be talking about this evening, right? And it could be his replacement. I'm not going to speculate on that, but I've heard that in the news a little bit over this weekend here going into today. So, don't be surprised if you see a little bit of volatility just because, that volatility could be a good thing too, depending on, who the replacement is, right? Now come see tomorrow, Fed Chair advice, nothing crazy here, auto sales. But this is it. Wednesday is really starting the important data here. We've got ADP employment data. Thursday, initial jobless claims. Friday, PCE data, right? This is the delayed report here on the personal income side and the personal spending side. But we've got the PCE index as well coming out. So we've got inflation data, jobs data coming out starting Wednesday and going into Friday, right? We're going to finish up with that inflation data. So just keep that in your mind if volatility ticks up, right? But that inflation data could be a good thing, right? Could give the bulls some ammunition. We will find out. Now, here's a story. I talked about Bitcoin last week. Bitcoin, Ethereum fall sharply as crypto sell-off resumes. You know what I mean? I like crypto, but doesn't mean I'm going to write it down, right? I'm going to stay on the right side of the trend no matter what I'm in. No doubt that Dumpy will pick a puppet. Bill, I'm not going to get political. All I'm saying is, yes, that switch, the changing of the guards, that could obviously, cause a tick up. Venezuela, I don't like to get political, but obviously look at geopolitical politics, right? Defense stocks might not be a bad place to be. Things start ticking up in that part of the world, right? Let's see, but my oil holdings, CVXE, are all up. Interesting. Oil could be a nice momentum play off of that news here. But this is where I'm going with the Bitcoin story, right? Selling off, no big surprise there. You don't need to tune into this channel to know that, right? But this is what I find interesting when it comes to crypto today. Look who the largest private gold holder is now. Tether Holdings, a crypto company, right? So not only the article is pretty much saying that they shut down their South American Bitcoin mining operations due to energy costs and pretty much weren't making as much money off it. I find it interesting that a stable coin now is the largest private holder of gold. And I was doing some research. The second, kind of tied with it, is actually Indian private households. Is a huge holder of gold, is Indian private households. But this is interesting here. It's Uruguay for its Bitcoin mining operation. Cheap energy cost, right? But look, they're transitioning behind the world's largest stable coin and the largest private holder of gold. That is interesting. That is interesting. That the largest stable coin is now the largest private holder of gold. I don't know where I'm going with that story, but I like gold and silver right now, and that's going to bring me right to silver. Silver hit record highs in 2012. Here's why the devil's metal could have further to run, right? Central banks, right? Silver has outpaced gold in 2025 with about 71% compared to gold's 54%. Silver mine production has been decreasing for the last 10 years, especially in Central and South America due to mine closures, resource depletion, and infrastructure challenges. I still feel confident in any dip in gold and silver. I still like gold and silver, and I've got some really good silver stocks in the watch list today. Now, if you're just tuning in, I didn't mention when I first started this live stream, not feeling very well, so I'm trying to push through this. Actually, Joey's sick as well today, but we're here trying to push through this here. So if I seem a little off today, it's because I'm probably running a fever right now. I think gold and silver are set for a huge 2026. Pennywise, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think this 2025 run is over, bud. I don't think it's over. Institutional ownership of gold is larger than Bitcoin, which is still mostly retail held. Interesting. Of gold larger than Bitcoin. Interesting. Turkey hangover? No hangover today. I think it's the cold weather here. This is the first weekend where we had in the 20s. And here in Charlotte, we don't get the 20 degrees very often. All right, but look at this here. This is the next story I want to talk about. Airbus shares fall on reports of new quality issue on dozens of A320 aircraft, right? Who do you think I'm going to think this is going to benefit? Boeing, right? So we're going to take a look at Boeing today and see if Boeing can maybe gain some momentum off of Airbus, right? Because I remember when Boeing was going through all the problems, everyone was jumping on the Airbus train, right? But now Airbus has got the issue, so I have a feeling they're going to be jumping on the Boeing, right? So we're just going to take a look and see if that's true. I want to see that RT above 1. If it is, this story here might just give the Boeing some momentum to the upside. We shall see. As well today, I did want to cover Intel. I saw the stock did pop 10% on Friday. We talked about that a little bit. Analyst predicts major Apple deal. That's what it's about, right? Intel stock mostly held on to a 10% rise on Monday. It rose on Friday after an analyst predicted the chip maker would secure a deal to supply Apple, right? Think about Apple, NVIDIA, AMD. All of these companies are coming to Intel's aid, right? And it's probably not a bad thing. You know, I could definitely see that being a good thing for Intel. And if they get that contract, that would be huge. Pennywise, funny thing you bring up Airbus, because last week I loaded one that had a huge hydraulic fluid leak once we took off the tail stand. Looked like it was, oh no. Let's see here. Let's get back into the software. Trying to break my fever here. All right, let's get back to the home page. Nasdaq, see, look, it's filling that gap here. Now down 39. We're getting right there. Let's just see if we can break into positive territory. You might have another retest on this trend line here, but it's still looking good for the bulls. As far as earnings, let's start off with the earning stocks, and then we'll go to the news picks today. All right, here's the earnings here. Look at this. Marvel at the top of the list when it comes to value, safety, and timing. Credo. Let's see here. Let's actually put these. I want to see where the undervalued are here. There's actually, looks like there's only one undervalued stock in the list here. Let me just auto fit. 2, Salesforce and Dollar Tree. Interesting. Salesforce is now undervalued. Let's take a look at these. Let's graph all of these. Look at the pressure on when it comes to Salesforce. Rising earnings per share. Let's see what the problem was. Let's look at value. Company looks like it was trading at a premium here. But look at this momentum. I got a little line down here. I wonder where that's coming from. Let's back up a little bit more. The chart does not look pretty on this, right? But I like that earnings per share, and I like the undervalued nature of this. So I do see it as a good earnings candidate. And it could be a potential good bottom fishing candidate, right? But just be careful because this chart pattern is everywhere. I mean, look at RT relative timing. It's hard to get a clear sense of direction. I kind of see this as more of a swing trading stock. I mean, unless you like volatility, unless you know, if this was overvalued, I'd be a little bit more concern, but because it's so undervalued and value is rising, you might get some opportunities here, right? CRM also pays a quarterly dividend. Oh, okay, nice. If you're looking for a dividend stock on a discount and undervalued, just be careful because RT relative time has been in the struggle box over the last, looks about 2 years here. Let's zoom into a 6-month time span. Look at the value is increasing, price is dropping. So yes, there could be some opportunities there. And with rising earnings per share, hey, I like this actually. This might actually be a good earnings play. The undervalued nature and the rising earnings. Look at that Dollar Tree value. That actually just has my attention right there. Dollar Tree way overvalued, but look now, 121. I mean, the valuation here, this is interesting. $62. Now we value at 121. So pretty much doubled, essentially. I like CRM as a potential value play. You know, opinion wise, I can't disagree with that, especially with the price right now. So undervalued and the pressure is on. Just be careful because you've seen that chart over the last year, right? You've seen that chart over the last year. Dollar Tree, this actually looks pretty good. And we've got, look at the transition here. Had strong buys, sells came in when the stock was feeling the pressure. But you can see the transition back into buys becoming more frequent here. I actually like this a lot. It's not a bad stock. Here's Ulta. Hey, look at the value too on this position. Was trading at a premium. And look at value. This is a more expensive stock, $556. We value it at $552. So the stock is fairly valued. I mean, just looking at the two here, kind of like Dollar Tree better. I mean, you got rising earnings, but I will say, yeah, RT has been above 1. But if you look at Ulta, look at this. RT just crossed above 1. So you might get a fresh little swing here. And especially if it breaks this prior swing high, what's this price here? $572. So we're about $20 away from that, right? Not a bad stock, actually. That's why I like going through these earnings. Sometimes you get some good fish here. UPath, I will say I like UPath just because it was trading at a premium. But now look at the value come in. I think that's what investors were really waiting for, is for the fundamentals to catch up to the position itself. I still like the software company. Look, rising earnings per share, but yes, it does not have that steady Eddie price trend. So, if you don't like volatility, this is probably not for you. This is a good swing trading stock. And you can see the pivot I was looking at before here. It's a nice little support level. Here's Marvel. If I had to guess, it might just jump up and test this line again. You can see it's worked out pretty well so far. But look, Marvel trading at a premium. Stock sold off, value, the fundamentals caught up with the company, and now they're just kind of moving up in tangent, right? Yeah, it's a little overvalued, not going to lie there. But I kind of like that price action. It's getting nice. It's getting on the steady Eddie side, right? Especially if we zoom into, say, like a 6-month stand. Maybe not that steady Eddie. But I do like, you find resistance, right? This trend line here, both times. If we get a nice parabolic move, I do see a little bit more upside potential here. Here's Hewlett-Packard. I don't really like this chart. I mean, values all over the place, prices all over the place, even earnings per share all over the place. I mean, yeah, if it pays a dividend and you've been holding it for a while and the dividend's making you money, can't be mad at it, especially now since it looks like it's kind of caught this as a level of support here. But overall, it's a little all over the place for me. Here's Okta. No. I mean, look at the price action just going down. Overvalued. Let's get that price maybe a little bit closer to value. It's already gone down this far. Doesn't look like it's quite stopping yet. HP is good as an infrastructure play. I don't disagree with that, especially domestic. I mean, obviously they have a huge presence for infrastructure. Just trading like a little premium right now. Here's Okta. It's just trading at a premium. I can't get behind it. I do like the earnings per share rising. But that RT relative timing has been below 1 in unfavorable territory for quite some time now. And the stock's still overvalued. So I'm not quite there yet. HPE does liquid cooling systems for data centers. Kind of like a SMCI, or I think Dell does that kind of stuff too. Vertiv, I think, does liquid cooling. Here's Macy's. I am going to say I like Ulta, Dollar Tree better just because of the valuation perspective. But look at the life and value. Value is ticking up quite nicely over the last few weeks. Earnings per share, not liking that going to earnings. Steady downtrend over the last 12 months. Pretty clear downtrend as well. American Eagle Outfitters trading like a premium. Not quite liking it. Look at earnings per share falling as well. I would be a little bit more concerned on this one. I like that Ulta and that Dollar Tree, though. Here's Thor Industries. Look at this nice full-body candlestick today. We do have a prior swing high here. So if you're looking for some kind of confirmation, we're actually getting pretty close to that level. Around 111 right now. We're just shy of 110. But look at the RT relative timing showing us that the short term now in favor of the bulls. So there could be some potential for some short-term trades there. Let's see here. VR, SBI, Dale, HP, all. Okay, that's what I figured, penny-wise. That's what I thought. Yeah, they're all pretty much in the same boat. I like Dell, probably Vertiv Holdings of those two, if I had to guess. SMCI, I like SMCI, but the value collapsing recently and just all the, the negative negativity around its, accounting irregularities. I don't think the stock's really recovered from that. But this one here just overvalued and earnings per share on the decline. I can't get that excited. It's hard. It's hard to. Look at Five Below, the premium here. But look at this value. A lot of these retails, their values are ticking up quite nicely. Just trading like a premium for me. I'd be careful with this one right now. Buy recommendation. I do like the trend to the upside. RT relative timing staying above 1 for the most part. Rising earnings per share. I do like this. Ryan, should we wait for communication or could we start tiptoeing into the market? Richard, it really depends on your aggressiveness, right? Where if you're more aggressive, sorry, like I said, I was a little sick today. It's where you fall along that scale, right? The aggressive people, yeah, the primary wave, that first green light buyer, right? More aggressive, right? DEW going up Friday, maybe a little bit more prudent. We're just not seeing that follow through today, right? So I think if we do get more momentum this week, really this, we had the primary wave up last Monday. So the BSR gets above, we could get a confirmed up signal. But yeah, if you're more conservative, more prudent, especially more prudent, maybe you want to wait a little bit more. And it also depends what type of stocks you're buying, right? Now, if you're conservative and you're buying these dips on like Google or, Micron, that's a little bit different than, getting into something like an SMCI, right? No, not too many tequila shots by any means. Let's see here. Here's GitLab. This is just consolidation for quite some time here. There's a top. I got really range bound. I'm not here for that one. This is where I see problems with certain AI stocks. Look at this. Stock was at 45. Now it's at 14. We only valued at 5, right? And look at the value. I don't see much life in this at all. So I still don't think you're going to get good. And look at the earnings per share. There's the takeoff. All that premium baked in. And the value never got up to it. So I think investors just kind of gave up on the fundamentals. And now they're bringing the price action down to the fundamentals. That's what I see on this. So be careful if you're holding this one. Here's Credo. Look at this last few trading days. Whew. Nice momentum buy rating. Just overvalued, but look at that earnings per share starting to rise. RT going favorable. If I go to 6 months, that's not a bad looking chart either. Just the valuation, that would be my only concern there. Everything else looks pretty good. AI also failed competitor of Palantir. Oh, interesting. I wonder if that's how BBAI is going to end up. We'll take a look at BBAI. I'm curious. Here's IoT Samsara. I've had a level of support here. Now it's resistance. But again, valuation's my concern here, right? There's going to be winners and losers of this this AI race. This one here, I do like the value is moving up, but the stock's just way overvalued. Like 622, it's almost doubled. Now it's 1125. But you could see the stock here just waiting for the fundamentals to catch up. Just not happening right now. So I'm not going to get in that boat. Credo looks good on paper, but I don't trust the company. Its HQ's in the Cayman Islands. I can understand that, penny-wise. ITRN. Which one is this? Not going to lie, it's not a bad stock. All right. Price action. We just lost the buy rating here, so be careful on this one. Just overvalued. I do like the earnings. Snowflake. Look at that value. Not doing a whole lot. Earnings per share is rocketing though. I do like this. CrowdStrike, the value is actually on the decline recently. That's not good. All right, since we're going to talk about Palantir, let's look at old Palantir. This was easy money, that ascending channel in an overvalued stock. I don't know. I see downtrend. I mean, the sell recommendation flashed. Yeah, what was that, a couple days ago here? Trust me, I like Palantir. Ooh. Let's see here. This is the last 4 months. The stock really just kind of flat. Again, we finally tipped our toes in the water on Micron today. Nice, Bill. Nice. Micron has the momentum right now. Yes, it does. So Palantir, I've said this before. You know, obviously everyone talks about it being overvalued. Easy money, riding that ascending channel, right? We broke the ascending channel, and ever since then, price action just kind of lost its luster, right? So right now, just be careful of Palantir. Just be careful of Palantir. All right. Let's just go to these news pick stories real quick. And then what time is it? 12:26. And I'll get some your picks. All right. I did put Hecla here as a silver pick. I got a couple silver picks here. Let's get an auto fit. Pan American Silver, First Majestic Silver Corp, SLV, iShares Silver Trust. Look what's at the top of the list here. All four of these silver, well, Hecla silver and gold. They got a couple mines between Canada and the United States here. But look at that momentum, 3%, 1-1. Once we leave the silver, we've got Intel here struggling. Went up 10% Friday. It's down about 1.5 today here. Look at the value, 19, trading double the valuation. I think this is a news hype stock. Just be careful. Let's see here. What about the nuclear sector? SMR, Oklo. We can take a look at those. Let's see here. Apple. Oh, that was with the Intel story. It's up today. American Airlines, Airbus, slightly down today. And I've got Bitcoin and Ethereum here as well. Both of these currently have sell ratings, right? So the momentum is not there when it comes to crypto. Let's graph these. That's beautiful. And not only has it got exposure to gold, it's got exposure to silver, which apparently, according to CNBC, I guess was the winner so far this year. Intel is still a dog. I'm not going to disagree with that. I think the only thing that's got going on for Intel is like a U.S. Steel or a Ford, right? We're just not going to let it fail. So that's why you got Apple, AMD, NVIDIA, ChatGPT, all of them trying to save the company, right? And I do see that as a good thing for Intel, and it's probably going to help out Intel. And until I see that value start ticking up on Intel, I'm just going to treat it like a news hype stock. But Hecla Mining, I really like this. A little bit of a, let's go to 3 months. That's a nice steady eddy. And look at the dips every time on gold here. So I'm going to tell you in this position right here, if I find a dip, I'm looking for the retest, probably about right here. Treat it like a zone. So if it comes back down, might retest in there. Feel like you messed out. But overall, I still like it. I mean, rising earnings per share. Here's Pan American Silver Corp, steady eddy, lower left, upper right here. Value just continues to climb. One slither of a sell rating on this pullback. And you see RT dip below 1, but just briefly, right? Went right back above 1. Earnings per share on the rise. Phenomenal stock here. Phenomenal stock. Look at the value. This sucker was way overvalued. I don't like that because, especially in mining companies, it's so easy to find value stocks. But look at the value here. It went from, let's use a date line. Jumped astronomically from $4 over $10. No, we haven't gone over NVIDIA yet. We can definitely go over NVIDIA. Earnings per share rising here. Still looks good, but my only caveat with this position, there's a lot of undervalued stocks out there. So just be careful. Like Hecla was undervalued. And if you want to play it safe, here's the iShares Silver Trust. Over the last 6 months here, went from about $30 now to $53, close to doubling your money. I like silver and gold. I'm not going to say I don't. Intel, look at the earnings, but the value, that's See, that was, I think, the Chat GPT deal was that big one. And I think NVIDIA and AMD were follow suit. And here's Friday's Apple's deal here. I got what, 36.16. As long as price action stays above that, I like it. Let's see where the stop is here. We'll give you a little bit more wiggle room on Intel. Our stop comes in currently around 34, or actually 35.25. Yeah, Intel's value is flatlined. It actually decreased, right? I mean, if you look at Micron and NVIDIA and some of these other semiconductors, it's hard, other than news-driven events, it's hard to be on the Intel bandwagon, right? And look at the value actually dropped from 1981 to 1937 and then dropped again to 1933. So it's on the decline right now. Earnings per share, flatline. See? Be careful of that. Apple, hey, nice steady Eddie, lower left, upper right. Only concern here is just overvalued. That's why I've liked Google so much so far. But Apple, ain't going nowhere, right? 279, earnings per share is on the rising. As long as that RT stays above 1, I'm going to be in the favor of the bulls. Here's American Airlines. Look at this undervalued stock. Let's just zoom in right here. That's a nice chart pattern. Just hit about a 4-month high here. RT above 1 for the most part. Not too bad. Let's go to 1 year. Here's Airbus. Overvalued, but look at value rising. Just not the right time. You see RT relative timing. Actually, the close was around $58 that day. We lost the buy rating. We lost relative timing. Now we've got some bad news. You see the gap down. So I can't be too bullish on it right now. Here is Delta. Value's declining. I like it as a swing trade. Hard to get too excited about an investment here, but earnings per share is on the decline too. Yeah, I'd treat it more like a swing trade. Bitcoin, here's BTC, the ETF, 1 year. Struggling here around 38.89. I've got another level of support here around $34, $33 here. But look at the sell rating. Strong sell rating. From 55 to 37. Be careful of your crypto. Here's another ETF here. Ethereum broke its downward trend line. Hit new highs. Quickly reversing here. Sell ratings coming into place. The first one came around $36 right now. Currently trading around $25.83. So just be careful of crypto in general. A lot of things are rallying right now over the last few days. Crypto, not one of them, unfortunately. Let's see here. Let's go to your picks. All right, 1232, good, because my ear is killing me right now. I got a lot of pressure in there. Ugh. There we go. All right. I am not even going to go by the likes today. Just go ahead and put in your stock symbols. I'll try to get as many as I can. Let's do this. Let's do this. All right, we got blocks. M-A-R-U-Y. Oh, got to pressurize. I'm curious what Iron's been up to. LQDA, NVDA, Micron, App11, Iron, BBAI. SMR, S, B. All right. There we go. What do we got? 16. Let's get 4 more. Let's just end it with an even 20. We got AVAV. Okay. What else we got? We already got NVIDIA in the list. We do have NVIDIA in the list. Oh, Rivian. Interesting. 2 more stocks. Who's going to put in the last 2 today? All right. AU Palantir. That's it. Scoot this over. We got 20 stocks today. At the top of the list, we got Micron, gold. Let's just look over to the right here. Semiconductors and gold. Strong semiconductors and gold, right? You got Micron, you got NVIDIA here. That's what's leading the top of this list. And that's, and well, it's silver. Let's see here. Let's see what the value is with this list. Anglo Gold, Micron. Some of these still, like this stuff, the list didn't change much. Nvidia. So not only are these the hottest spots, but this is where also you get the most value in this list here. That's what hey, look, the stocks, they're up today. Micron up 1%, Barrick, Nvidia, semis and gold, semis and gold. Not a bad playbook right now. All right, overvalued Oklo. That's where I see the problem with the nuclear stuff. It's just the valuation. So many people hopped into it. The Big Bear AI, another issue. Let's graph these here. Where was our 5-minute warning? Sorry, Tommy. No 5-minute warning today. I'm just trying to get through this. Oh, you got Wolf, though. I'm just put in Wolf real quick. Anyways, this is Terra Wolf. Look at this pivot off of this. It's a speculative play. Just be careful. It's failing to hit new highs. If you see too much rejection here at these prior swing highs, just be careful. Our stop right now, what, $13? It's probably not a bad stop. Give a little bit of wiggle room. All right, Anglo Gold, beautiful. Beautiful chart. Lower left, upper right, gold and silver. RT remains above 1. Earnings per share just rocketing from $4 upwards to around $7 here. Phenomenal stock. Phenomenal stock. Micron, 230. That's the pivot. I told y'all that Friday when it broke sub 200. My mom was not on her way to Colorado. We probably would have bought a little bit more. But it's all good. She's got some. All right. RT relative timing. It's been above 1 for a while now. And even on this dip here, look, RT stayed above 1, letting us know that the trend was still in favor of the bulls. So as long as RT stays above 1, I'm going to be optimistic with Micron. With earnings as strong as that, as rising as fast as that, the value's rising as fast, it's a phenomenal company. Barrick Gold, undervalued, chasing value, strong buy ratings. Gold, silver, semis. Pays a dividend, also mines silver. I think the mine, just me personally, was seeing, especially that last article, silver outperforming gold this year. Getting into some mines that have exposure to both. I know, I think Wheaton Precious Metals is a good one because they even have access to other like rare earths and critical minerals, copper and things. So yeah, getting diversifying in your mining, not a bad one. I saw a report that B is looking into doing an IPO for its American business. Interesting. I see a doji candlestick right now. So just be a little bit careful on Barrick Gold. See a little bit of indecision in there if I zoom in. But still, that's a nice chart. It's hard to, I can't talk bad about gold. Look at NVIDIA. The value still rocketing. Your value 221 now, still going up. You see my level of support here is actually from a little consolidation channel from before this time. But yeah, as long as it stays above 171, especially 153, I'm still optimistic in it. Just be careful because look at RT dropping below 1 here. So a little bit of a warning sign. That would be my warning for NVIDIA. But as long as it stays above, especially 171 is going to be real healthy. You know, this could be, I know people probably going to buy the dip on NVIDIA, right? I'm going to be too surprised. Maybe this little swing pivot here. What is that? Around 157, 160. Might not be a bad little dip on NVIDIA. Here is Meta. This is why I like Meta. It's undervalued, but look at the value rolling over, right? So are we getting a deal right now? We are, but value's dropping, right? RT relative timing still below 1. Let's get a 1-year chart here. Get rid of some of these lines. I do like it being back above 632. Where's our stop price? 623. I like that. As long as it stays above our stop price, this could actually be a nice little momentum trade as well. Valuation, I like it. But the stock's just been in its own way now for about a year here. You can see about a year ago. Where were we? 574 right now. We're at 643. It's not looking as easy as some of those other charts like an NVIDIA, right? Or Apple. Nice steady eddies right now. Here's another stock, Mari, diversified company. Look at the valuation catching up to actually 267, undervalued now. Earnings per share ticking up very nicely. That's a nice steady stock. Let's see here, 6 months. Yeah, I like it. That's not a bad one. Okay. I could see that being a value play as well. Oh, well, it was overvalued, but look at that value. That's nice. I really like that. It's a Japanese trading house. Okay. Here's Blocks, crypto income. I mean, you can see with the pressure on with crypto, this is not helping. As long as Bitcoin just broke that trend line, that long-term trend line. Does this do like a huge dividend, kind of like a yield max thing, but just with crypto? Is this what this is? You just gotta make sure that yield max is worth it, because it went from $28 to about 16. Here, I'm not here for it right now. Palantir. What is the yield on this PLTY? Just curious. See here, dividend. Let's see what the typical yield is. Blocks is managed by Yield Max guys. Gotcha. Blocks also pays weekly. Oh, interesting. Okay. So you're trying to do a pretty much an income strategy on crypto, right? So just be careful of that. Just Palantir. I mean, this one from $80 to 53. You just got to make sure these dividends are making it justified. EV shows that it has a sell and flat to down, while we are up 75% with the huge weekly dividend. Oh yeah, this is not going to consider the dividends for that. Not bad. Yeah, I'd have to see how we can incorporate that with these positions. I'll have to take a look. Maybe I can mention that to development, see if they have an idea. Here's Liquida Corp. Look at the value. I don't know what happened with this company, but the earnings per share did a dramatic turnaround, and look at the value. And not only from the initial report here, from the jump, but we're getting follow through on that value. Higher report, higher report, higher report. Now value's coming at $28.50. The stock trading at $32.11. So still a little overvalued, but because value jumped up, I like that. And I like the turnaround story and the earnings per share as well. Here is CLS. Nice lower left, upper right. Had value opportunities. I'm going to be honest with you, around $298. We'll call it $300. As long as it stays above that, not going to be too concerned. You see the buy rating still in place. RT relative timing still above 1. Rising earnings per share. If it breaks this $300, probably could get back and stuck between this range-bound motion between about 300 and 260. Thanks, Ryan, for taking my thought on Palantir. I'll be honest with you. Yeah, if you don't want to do the hassle, I'd have to do more research on these yield max. But yes, if NVIDIA crashed, if Micron crashed, these good companies, get mispriced with the market pullback, I'm not going to lie, I'd like these yield maxes kind of like bottom fishing, right? I don't want to get these yield maxes at their peaks, right? I've thought about these yield maxes for my mom, but on a stronger company. I know I'm not going to get her on the crypto income one. No, not doing that. PLTY is the best yield max ETF, in my honest opinion. I'd have to do the numbers. I have to look at the brokerage, see what the real, dividend information is here. I get the logistics of it. I like the NVIDIA one, but PLTY, penny-wise, I'll have to take a look at it and do the math, make sure the numbers make sense here. But getting into yield maxes on strong companies, probably not bad. PLTY is the only yield max ETF that hasn't been destroyed by NAV erosion. Interesting. And Bill and Pennywise, I know you guys have been trading a long time. I respect your opinion. I'll take a look at PLTY. Personally, the stock being overvalued is my biggest caveat. But could bring some opportunities to that yield max ETF for sure. Now here we've got ASYS, a semiconductor company here. Look at the momentum, but value did not follow suit. One thing I do like about this, earnings per share went into positive territory. So I do see a turnaround story. You see, I got a couple levels of support here. Actually, looks like I caught this level of support. So if it retests, actually, I just want to stay above 745. Stays above that. Where's our stop price? 782. Even better. But yeah, I'd be putting more of a tight stop on this one. If it doesn't catch it pretty soon, we could be breaking this, especially with that valuation. Not very good. Just be careful with yield max because they do have a reverse split on most of their ETFs recently. Okay, interesting. Yeah, the yield maxes have intrigued me. Yeah. App, look at this. Nice pivot here, this bottom wick. The transition from buy, hold to sell, back to hold, buy rating could be coming into play. And actually, the RT relative timing, 0.99, this might be what it's waiting on. We can just add VST, because in order to get a buy rating stock, VST and RT both have to be above 1, and the stock has to be moving away from our stop price. Well, it's definitely moving away because it's a big update today. I think it's just that RT above 1. So we could transition into a buy rating when it comes to this position. You know, nice buy, hold, sell, back to hold, potentially back to a buy if we get RT back above 1. I actually like this app loving. Here's iron. Like I've said, just be careful because it breaks this 43. I'd like to get closer to 30 bucks. It's just me being greedy. And look at the valuation starting to tick up, right? So if I get closer to the valuation, I like it. And look, we got a fresh sell rating on this today. Be careful. Yeah, I did a video on this with around 20 bucks. Nice trade setup. I mean, what 20 to 80 bucks. You know me, I keep it simple. Breaking the trend line would have been an easy way, trailing stop, something. But now that we're just consolidating back in the zone and we're getting a mixture of hold and sells, just be careful. So we break below this. I'm looking for 30 bucks because I would really like iron around 30, especially the value around 21.17. VST, though, also showing some weakness right now. Look at VST going back below 1. All right, let's uncheck VST. Made a lot off of iron. Awesome, Alfredo. But yeah, you know, if you're still holding it, I don't know where you bought it at. Just be careful. I do. And you see the buyers came in last time. As soon as it broke that level, came in right in. What's this low here? 39.52. So if it takes out that swing low, definitely would be concerned. And the RT being below 1 right now, that's fair warning. Here's AVAV. I'm just curious. This might be a nice little technical setup. If AVAV drops right into this trend line where the support level is, it might get a little pop here. Otherwise, I'm just going to go off the valuation. The stock's overvalued. Investors roared into this stock, brought it to 400 bucks. It's just coming right back down. And it's trading at session lows right now, so be careful. Just like iron, you know, be protecting profits. And to the adverse effect, if we keep it simple again, look at that. We broke trend line, retested it from the bottom end, and then rejection here. Rejection. I'm continuing to hold my AVAV shares. Nice. You know, Pennywise, I don't know where you bought it. I don't know what dividend it pays, what your strategy is. All I'm going to say is just be careful because it broke that trend line and literally retested it from the bottom. So you can see my support here. It touched this support last time. I need a higher swing high. I don't even need to get in the support. Honestly, I'd like to stop right at the top of the zone here. So that way I can get a higher low compared to this low here. But my biggest caveat, just overvalued and not quite the right timing. See, RT relative timing. I've said this before. If you're not a chart master, just put RT on your chart. Because look at this. RT is giving us warning sign. And then we broke it, right? And then it's just going, look at the momentum here. 0.51. That's a lot of momentum to the downside. Just be careful. I like it, just not right now. Here's SMR. I'm going to put this in the AVAV category. You know, uranium, stuff like that. AI data center plays. You can see the investors just poured into here, right? Bringing the stock up to what? Close to 60 bucks. The valuation just not keeping up with it. So just be careful with this position. Now, we'll say as far as what is this little line doing? Yeah, we're trying to catch this right here, around 18. So be careful. I have an average cost of 124 on AVAV with most of my shares bought from 90s. Nice. Okay. Hey. Iron is trending down because the demand for Bitcoin is low. Well, iron is pivoting. That was my whole point with iron and the other Bitcoin miners, right? Because, yeah, there's some money in Bitcoin, but they want that big money, the AI money. And that's why they're pivoting to data centers. And more importantly, and I'm still intrigued, I'm going to do some more research about this, but the fact that Tether, which is a stablecoin crypto company, is now the largest holder of gold. Something is going on in the crypto community. I'm going to have to do some research to figure it out here. But right now, I'm liking gold. I'm liking silver. And no, I'm not giving up on crypto. But now just ain't the time. And the fact that some of the Bitcoin miners are just pretty much scattered from Bitcoin mining and gone to other aspects, right? So just be careful, right? Let's see here. Rick says 5 less successful, and the trading tab covers that. Where is that at here? Tether still housed in El Salvador. Red flag. Yeah. Well, El Salvador is the first country to go all in on Bitcoin, which I'm kind of curious how that investment worked out, right? But here's SMR again, just a valuation concern, and then just the trend. It's not there. You know, if the trend was there, hey, the valuation would be more concerned. But now neither are there, right? Here's Rivian. Other than this little breakout here above 16, I'm going to resort back to that valuation because Rivian hasn't really done much in the last year. That's 1 year, 3 days. Let's drag it out here. I don't know where this little line came from. This stock has done nothing in the last, 2 years, 7 months, and the value just dropped like crazy. You know, you might get a little breakout. I would treat it like a momentum trade because that's the breakout it's looking for. You know, probably around $18. But that value, no. And the earnings per share is actually negative. Can't get behind that. Coin flip, circle over Tether. I don't see the point in really investing either because they're not going to do anything. They're just pegged to the dollar. To be honest with you, I'm just curious what they're doing in the background, right? Hey, and I'm not going to say Rivian's a bad company. I like their vehicles, but just with the value on the decline and the fact that the stock hasn't gone really anywhere in the last. This is what I'll say about Rivian. Look how easy these swings are. I mean, this is a swing trading stock here. Unless it pays a good dividend, I would not have wanted to hold this stock for the last 2 years, right? But this is a swing trading stock. Those are nice, easy swings here. Let's see here. Big Bear AI. You can look at my chart pattern here, right? I'm not even going to do a video of it. But what do you think I'm going to say, right? Put my target right up here, right? It's been doing this chart pattern for quite some time here. So something big's probably going to happen, right? Because that is getting tighter and tighter and tighter, right? It's getting tighter and tighter. The best thing I could say for Big Bear AI, because I want to buy it on discount, is it breaks out down to the downside of this thing. If I get another tick up in value, maybe above $2, and I get the sucker closer to $4, that would be my investment play. Other than that, I'm swing trading the stock, right? I've done a couple videos on it in the past. Obviously the swing's pretty. It's just ping when you're supposed to ping, pong when you're supposed to pong on this stock, right? Try not to overthink it. If it breaks that chart pattern, hey, it's over. There's NBIS. Look at this, catching the bottom of this ascending channel here. So yeah, I'm gonna like it. Where's my target gonna be? The top of the channel, right? Yeah, I'm not going to be here for the value, and I'm not going to be here for the falling earnings per share. What I'm going to be here for, this ascending channel that's been making people money recently, right? So, again, just ping when you're supposed to ping, pong when you're supposed to pong, right? But, yeah, Pennywise is an investment. BBAI, that at these levels, that's a little hard, right? Ryan, you are being greedy. Maybe it's that fever kicking. Right? I'm sorry if I want Big Bear AI for $4. I might be greedy for that. But I'm telling you what, if it breaks out of that, my mind is fogged right now, being sick. But look at this. If it breaks out this, it could pick us momentum to the downside real quick. That ain't gonna be that hard. And RT's already below 1. So again, any short-term trades, I all have to do with this chart pattern here, right? You see they worked out recently. NBIS ascending channel. We see the pivot here very nicely. Still looks good from a technical perspective. As far as value, as far as earnings, not here for it. Palantir, I broke the ascending channel. As of right now, I got my pivot here at 151. So now I just need to stay at above 163. So I got my pivot here, and I actually got another pivot here today. So I like this. Ultimately, if it does keep moving up, what would we naturally see? Retesting the channel from the bottom end, right? From the bottom end. Ryan needs a bowl of Menudo? No, I need some, what is that? Like NyQuil or something, or some cough medicine. Something with my pressure, my ears. For sure. Let's see here. Here's Oklo. Clearly, what did I have this here for? I don't know what this line was for. Was it shoulder, head, shoulder? That is not the chart pattern you want to see if you're a bull. That's a head and shoulder. RT below 1, following earnings per share, and the stock is overvalued. Be careful. I only say it once on Oklo. Be careful. I know Glenn and I talked about uranium stocks, but yes, I would have liked the value to go up, and I would like the earnings per share to go up. Other than that, we had to rely on the technicals, right? And this is my support here around 83 to, what was that? 88 to 95. We break this much lower. Yeah, the stock's just way overvalued. We only value at 1043. So just be careful of this head and shoulders pattern here. That's the biggest thing with Oklo is that head and shoulders pattern. All right. We'll try to get some meds. I got a meeting or two. Got the 6 p.m. video. And I gotta get better for you guys because hopefully we get some good optimism tomorrow. Let's see where the homepage is leading us here. Still getting close to filling that gap. Still getting close. We're just down 34 today. Dow Jones. Looks like that's one in the struggle box, down about 0.5% right now. Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm going to go do that. You guys enjoy your day. Hopefully, even though I'm sick today, I gave you some good guidance utilizing the VectorVest system. That's what I'm here for. On that note, Joey and I are out. When I see you Wednesday, I'm going to feel much better. So come with your enthusiasm. Take care.